Welcome to the Hindu Daily. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking that stack of essential reading, the editorials, spotlights, weekend features from the Hindu Daily, and really boiling down the critical takeaways for you. We're starting today with, well, global institutions, specifically the UN. It's turning 80.
Right. And there's this core paradox the sources highlight. It was designed, to stop catastrophic wars.
But conflicts just drag on, and the argument here is that the international system often just abandons political engagement way too soon.
Exactly. Diplomacy becomes what the article calls crisis theater. It gets switched on too late, when things are already burning.
And then, crucially, pulled out too early, right when the violence slows down. But the politics are still incredibly fragile.
And this points to a real structural weakness. It's not just politics between the big powers, the P5. The UN's actual institutional map has gaps.
Gaps? How so?
Well, there isn't a dedicated body for that long-term political support, what the piece calls political accompaniment, once the immediate crisis fades. The Security Council, it acts in bursts. It's structurally episodic.
Right. It jumps from crisis to crisis.
Precisely. And peacekeeping missions often just become these indefinite holding patterns. They lack a clear, ongoing political strategy.
And the Peacebuilding Commission, the PBC.
Important, yes. But it doesn't really have the mandate or, frankly, the authority to properly engage during those really tricky political transitions.
So this loss of focus, of continuity, that's what needs fixing. And the sources argue we can't just wait for UNSC reform that's politically gridlocked.
Yeah, amending the UN Charter is a huge hurdle. So the focus shifts to functional reform. What can be done now?
And the insight is the General Assembly already has powers under Article 22.
Exactly. Article 22 lets the GA set up subsidiary bodies it needs. So the proposal is use that power, create a new body, the Board of Peace and Sustainable Security, the BPSS.
Kind of an end run around the Security Council deadlock then.
Essentially, yes, it fills that gap, its job. Structured political engagement during and after conflict, when the UN's attention often dissipates.
And its tools are political, not military.
Correct. We're talking practical things, reinforcing nationally led dialogue, helping implement peace agreements, coordinating regional diplomacy.
And crucially, linking peacekeeping to actual political goals.
Yes, that's vital. Avoiding those missions that just drift on for decades with no clear end state.
Okay, but how do you make this BPSS credible? Governance is key.
Absolutely. It needs to be representative, not some closed shop. The idea is a rotating membership, maybe 24 states.
Elected by the GA.
Elected by the GA for fixed terms. And crucially, formal regional distribution. Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, West Asia all need guaranteed seats, equal weight.
And regional bodies, like the African Union or ASEAN.
They have to be participants, not just observers sitting on the sidelines. The source makes a great point. Peace gets shaped in places like Addis Ababa, Jakarta, Brasilia, just as much as in New York.
So participation, not privilege. No vetoes.
No vetoes. That's fundamental. And this all ties into the concept of sustainable security. Lasting peace isn't just imposed. It links security to the long-term political reality.
Achieved through better governance, inclusion, local leadership.
Implemented over time, not a quick fix.
That institutional challenge connects, unfortunately, to another global flashpoint. Let's shift gears. The U.S. president's announcement about potentially resuming nuclear weapons testing.
Yeah, ending a 33-year moratorium, it's alarming. Especially now with the doomsday clock at 89 seconds to midnight.
And the timing noted in the sources is stark. It came after Russia tested a nuclear-capable cruise missile.
And on the very same day, the U.S. president met China's President Xi Jinping.
So what's the immediate fallout on the power dynamics?
Well, it definitely destabilizes things. China immediately urged the U.S. to stick to its CTBT commitments. That's the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty.
Which never formally entered into force, but the moratorium was the key understanding, right?
Exactly. It was this crucial tacit agreement. If the U.S. goes ahead and tests, you can bet China and Russia might feel justified in resuming their own tests, maybe low-yield tactical nukes.
And they'd argue the U.S. broke the understanding first.
Precisely. Which makes negotiating anything else, like a successor to the New START treaty, much, much harder.
New START expires soon, right? February 2026.
Yes. And the trust needed for those negotiations, it just evaporates if testing resumes.
This puts huge strain on the whole non-proliferation regime, doesn't it, the NPT?
Absolutely. Resuming tests really violates the core grand bargain of the NPT, the deal where nuclear powers promise to work towards disarmament.
And non-nuclear states promise not to acquire them.
Right. The U.S. would be visibly breaking its side of that bargain.
And the potential domino effect. That seems terrifying.
It really is. If the U.S. and China test, India might feel pressured, which could push Pakistan. Suddenly you have serious instability right there in the subcontinent.
Not to mention U.S. allies questioning the reliability of American deterrence.
That too. And the sources make a really sobering point here. Maybe current leaders lack that historical memory, the visceral understanding of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Does that make proliferation seem more acceptable? Even tactical nukes?
So where do we go from here? What's the path forward?
Urgent dialogue is needed. The NTT Review Conference is coming up early next year. The sources strongly suggest pushing for a binding global no-first-use commitment from all signatories.
And given the New START deadline?
Trilateral talks, U.S., Russia, China, it's essential, not just for stability, but to try and salvage some faith in that NPT grand bargain.
Okay, let's pivot sharply now from huge geopolitical threats to a major domestic challenge, scaling up public health care. We're moving into our spotlight section. First up, the Telangana Institute of Medical Sciences, or TIMS, hospital project in Hyderabad.
Right. This came directly out of the COVID-19 crisis. That period really exposed how fragile Hyderabad's public system was, relying so heavily on just Gandhi Hospital.
So the goal for TIMS was ambitious, to match private hospitals.
Absolutely. In scale, in sophistication, build a new generation of government super specialty hospitals.
Tell us about the scale of this first one, the Sanathanagar project.
It's big, a Euro 1,070 crore project, 1,000 beds, super specialty focus. It's scheduled to open around December 9th.
1,000 beds and 37 departments planned.
Specializing in high-end areas like cardiothoracic surgery, cardiac care, transplants. It's meant to be a center of excellence.
And it's a hybrid model. Some paying beds?
Yes, about 200 beds are designated for paying patients. The idea, presumably, is cost recovery, maybe helping long-term financial health.
The infrastructure details are quite something. 16 major operating theaters, 6 minor ones.
44 labs in total, high-end equipment like a 3.0 Tesla MRI, a 128-slice CT scanner. It sounds, as you said, more like a private medical city.
And support for families, too. This Dharamshala.
Yes, a separate G+5 building, basically dedicated low-cost lodging for up to 200 patient attendants. That's a really important feature for accessibility.
Okay, so the physical infrastructure is impressive. But what about running it? How will it avoid the problems other new facilities face?
That's the crucial question. The administrative structure is key. It's modeled on NIMS, the Nizam's Institute of Medical Sciences.
Which is known for its autonomy in Telangana.
Exactly. The TIMS will have a dual structure, a chief operating officer for the operational side, and a medical director for the medical services. Essential support services like security, laundry, those will be outsourced.
And staffing. That's often the bottleneck.
Initially, they'll use adjusted existing government personnel, but the long-term plan needs about 350 highly specialized doctors.
So recruitment is make or break. We know other new medical colleges in the state have struggled with staff shortages and delays.
And this is where the legal framework becomes really interesting. The TIMS Act, 2024, Act number 9 of 2024.
What does that act do?
It grants TIMS significant legal autonomy, similar to NIMS. Crucially, it allows the institute to have its own recruitment powers across all levels.
So it can bypass the usual government service recruitment red tape.
That's the design, to be faster, more flexible, hopefully attract top talent.
But autonomy isn't everything. What else is needed for this to actually succeed long term?
Well, the doctors interviewed for the article were very clear. 3 things. Continuous infrastructure maintenance. You can't let these expensive facilities degrade.
Makes sense.
Second, adequate and sustained manpower. Recruitment needs to be fast and ongoing. And third, that initial government financial support needs to be solid for at least the first 5 years to let it find its feet.
So it's a major test. Can Telangana deliver on this promise of world-class accessible healthcare? And will that hybrid paying model undermine the accessible part? That's the governance challenge.
Definitely one to watch.
Okay, let's stay in the spotlight section, but shift focus dramatically. To agriculture, specifically the Rajampeta division in Andhra Pradesh. And the article opens with this fantastic anecdote. Mastan Basha Sheikh, a truck driver returning from the UAE,
gets stuck in Dubai because of a flight delay, wanders into a juice bar, and discovers they're importing papaya from his hometown, which he didn't even realize was exporting it.
It's amazing. That accidental discovery makes him switch from steel trading to growing papaya himself.
And now his daughters run juice bars in Dubai using pulp from the region. It perfectly captures this local-global connection.
And his story reflects a much bigger trend in Rajampeta.
Right.
Massive growth in horticulture.
Huge growth. The number of horticulture farmers in that division, in Annamaya district, have gone from maybe 100 in the 1980s to nearly 40,000 today.
Wow. What drove that?
A combination of factors. The unique geography helps it surrounded by these hill ranges, Palakanda, Nalamala, Lankamala, semi-arid climate, good red sandy loam soils,
And water.
ancient tank-based irrigation systems, plus later, bore wells, often funded by investments from Gulf Fortunis like Masdan Basha Sheikh.
And they shifted crops.
Yes, away from traditional rain-fed stuff like groundnut and pulses towards high-value cash crops, mango especially, Banganapali, Neelam, Totapuri varieties, banana, papaya.
Okay, so it sounds like a success story.
Mm-hmm.
But the headline suggests farmers are struggling.
They are, terribly. Despite the boom, despite good yields often, they're facing huge challenges. Climate change is hitting hard.
How so? Rayalaseema is known for dryness, but
Right, and now it's erratic. That underlying dryness is punctuated by sudden cloudbursts, flash floods, and then there are specific crop diseases getting worse.
like
Anthracnose on mangoes, Sigatoka leaf spot on bananas. These really hit yields and quality, driving up costs for farmers.
And then there's the market side. The economics sound disastrous.
They are. Production is massive. The article mentions 3.5 lakh metric tons of mangoes annually, but when the harvest comes, prices just crash.
The banana example was shocking. Yields over 70%, but the price dropped to 3 rupees a kilo.
While selling for maybe 60 or 70 rupees in the cities, and farmers almost universally blame what they call a syndicate of middlemen.
Who fix the prices, especially for perishable things like papaya.
Exactly. Papaya prices apparently crashed to 5 rupees a kilo. When you have a perishable crop, you have very little bargaining power.
So where's the policy safety net? What about MSP minimum support price?
Ah, that's the core problem identified in the source. The district horticulture officer confirms it directly. Mango, banana, papaya are not covered under the MSP system.
Not covered at all. So that recent 4 rupees per kilo for mangoes from the government?
That was explicitly just distress relief, a temporary measure, not a guaranteed floor price, not a sustained support mechanism. Farmers are basically facing total market risk year after year.
No structural safety net then, just occasional patches.
Pretty much. And the frustration is boiling over. You have young, educated farmers, people who chose agriculture over IT jobs.
And now they feel abandoned.
Completely. They point to promised cold storage units, processing facilities, things that could give them more market leverage that never materialized.
And research isn't reaching them either.
They complain the findings from the Dr. YSR Horticultural University don't make it to the farms effectively. Lack of funding for extension services, apparently.
The result is people giving up, going back to IT.
Some are seriously considering it or already have. It's a real shame. This incredible potential, this horticultural boom undermined by market failures and policy gaps.
Okay, let's shift from those economic struggles to something perhaps a bit more uplifting, though still complex. Our weekend section piece on travel trends.
Yes, focusing on this move towards immersive cultural tourism in rural India.
The Skyscanner 2025 report is cited, showing a big jump. 79% of Indian travelers apparently want more than just sightseeing. They want deeper cultural experiences.
It's about authenticity, connection, and resorts are responding. Look at Tipai in Yavatmal, Maharashtra.
Beyond the usual tiger safari.
Way beyond. They focus on hyper-customization. They'll look at booking details like, say, an odd midweek booking date and might interpret that as a personal celebration, tailoring the stay.
That's quite specific.
And the food focus is deep. Chef Amninder Sandhu doing traditional cuisine, plus this really interesting collaboration with Great State Ale Works.
The millet beer, common ground.
Yeah, sourced directly from local farmers in the area. It connects the visitor experience directly back to the local agricultural economy.
That local connection seems key. The piece mentions Himachal Pradesh, too, a Maya resort in Solan.
Right. There, the focus is on community integration. Guests take walks through Darwa village, and the residents themselves share local history.
Talking about the region being a refuge.
Yes, families fleeing wars and turmoil of the northern plains over different periods, like the Gurkha invasions. It adds this incredible layer of meaning to the place, far beyond just a pretty view.
Even luxury travel is adapting to this slow travel idea. The Satara Himalaya example near Manali.
Oh, the Sitar on the wheel, it sounds amazing. A repurposed Volvo bus turned into this spacious, luxurious caravan by Good Earth's founder, Anita Lal.
So it's road travel, but slow, deliberate.
Exactly. Like an 8-hour drive from Chandigarh, but designed with planned stops for meals at local partner restaurants. It's about the journey, comfort, local flavor, not just rushing to the destination.
And this commitment to authenticity really shines through with CGH Earth properties down south in Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
Definitely. At Coconut Lagoon in Kumarakom, Kerala, they have Chaya Chechi.
The woman in the canoe serving tea.
Yes. A local village woman using her canoe, just like the traditional Chayavalam, the floating tea shops that used to serve workers out in the Kutanad paddy fields. It's a living piece of local culture.
And in Tamil Nadu, at Mantrakutam near Kumbakonam.
They're digging into the local Vedic heritage, researching Chola-era recipes, dishes from ancient Sangam literature for their menus.
And connecting guests with local artisans.
Yes, arranging visits to local cooperatives like sari weavers. It builds this symbiotic link. Guests get an authentic experience, and the local economy benefits directly.
So the big picture trend is clear. Hospitality moving beyond just providing a bed and a meal.
It's about creating meaningful, enriching holidays, not just for the guests, but also for the local communities, the artisans, the farmers, the villagers whose culture and work make the experience possible. It's connecting that desire for knowledge and authenticity with real local economic benefit.
You know, listening to all this today, whether it's the UN's struggle to maintain political engagement or the potential collapse of nuclear arms control norms, or even the lack of a safety net for those farmers in Rajampeta, there's a running theme, isn't there? It's about the breakdown of institutional commitment, the failure of systems to deliver on their promises.
That's a powerful thread running through it all. From global security architecture down to very local agricultural markets, when the institutions, treaties, government bodies, market mechanisms, when they fail to uphold their end of the bargain.
It leaves individuals and communities incredibly vulnerable. That seems to be the challenge underlying so many of these stories.
And perhaps the question for you, the listener, is this. If our existing institutions, global or national, seem unable or unwilling to keep these fundamental promises securing peace, ensuring basic economic fairness, what kind of pressure, what kind of action is needed to force the changes we need? Where does that impetus come from?
Thank you for listening. If you want to provide suggestions, please contact on the Twitter handle given in the episode description. As always, we are eager to hear what our listeners want to be informed about. We wish you a great day.